How are you this fine evening?
I am stupendously annoyed. But other than that, I'm good.
Nothing's going to make for a good podcast like an annoyed. Well, I mean, that's the first ingredient to our podcast is being grumpy.
You're listening to, and this is why I love comics.
Andy and Mike. Andy and Mike.
I'm trying to shake it, but I can't. And welcome to another episode of And This Is Why I Love Comics. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we are here on a Monday talking to you. Thanks for listening. This is episode, I think, 79 or something like that, which is crazy.
We're getting closer to triple digits than we are from the start.
Definitely hit that this year, triple digits at the rate we're going. So that'll be exciting. We should do something special for 100. I don't know what yet. Musical number or something. It's
comic book karaoke. The theme songs of all the 1960s Marvel cartoons.
We are the podcast of older gentlemen talking comics and their lives and everything that comes up in between, colonoscopies and car thefts and stuff like that. Everything you could possibly want to know about. How's it going for you, Mike?
Doing okay. It was a late night tonight. I got home just in time to record. So I left the office around 9:30 in the evening and got home in time to sit down and talk to a good friend about comic books.
I was doing everything I can to avoid another night, and you did not let me.
Not this time. Haha.
Foiled again.
Yep.
You got a 3D printer. You've been using it wisely.
Man, it is like there is dopamine with that printer. It is 100% like you send something to be printed, moments later, depending on what it is, poof, out of almost nowhere you have a physical item.
Out of this string you have coiled up.
It is absolutely phenomenal. And, because of the device I got, it has like this option where you can do it on your phone and send the files over. And so I could be at work and I'm looking through the catalog of things and I was like, hey, you know what? This looks interesting. I'll give this a print. And I just hit the print button. And if it's going to be a long day or not, I mean, it's like I'm not home. So it's not like I have to watch over it or anything like that. And it's going to take a while. It's like, well, might as well be at the office and keep plugging away. And then I'll come home and it's waiting for me, kind of like a loyal dog.
Don't you have to watch over it though?
There is a sense of wonder that does kind of end the hypnotic, like, and it slowly appears.
I know on my machine, I have to watch every second of it or else it starts just shooting out stuff and trying to make something different than what it's supposed to.
Yeah, this was not supposed to be Picasso's.
That's why I don't have mine hooked up right now because I get so fed up. But it's an older model and it was used when I got it. Not as fun as yours. Sounds like yours is phenomenal.
Doing a lot of research to try to find the exact one that would work for somebody who has zero understanding of how this stuff works. And I just want it to print. That's all I want. I don't want to tinker with it. I don't want to add a bunch of gizmos and gadgets to it. I don't want to know the inner workings. I just want to hit print and like a Xerox machine, photocopier. I just want to, I don't want to see that, there's a pterodactyl inside that goes, it's a living. That's just, making sketches or anything like that. It's like, nope, print and it's done. Now I've had a few where it's crapped out, a few things that were like, oh, it's gone rogue. I won't say everything's gone perfectly, but I would say, 19 out of 20 attempts have been absolutely successful.
That was my error rate.
I will say that there is an addiction to multiple aspects of it because you're like going, not only do I want to buy different nozzles so that I can print super fine details or go fatter so I can print faster and turn things around quicker. And on the other end of the spectrum, it's like I want to get these different types of plastics, and then different colors of plastic so I can print things in the color of the plastic that it's supposed to be. And that's kind of where it's like, I have the files to do it, but I want to print the Raideen Shogun Warrior figure at the full 2-foot scale. I got the files. I can do it. I just don't have the color plastic. And it's like, yeah, I could paint it. I could sand it and do all that stuff. But there's something about it, knowing that color plastic is the color. And that I'm like, oh, I want to get the right color of blue. I want to get the right color of cyan. I want the right color, it's addictive to get to that point.
Just did that during an afternoon while you were at work, huh?
Yeah. It did take a couple more plates, print beds to do it, but still, it was just like, I sent one while I was at work, took all those parts off, and then sent the next wave while I was heading to bed. And then between a bed and I printed another one. And so I had like 3 waves and I got almost like 90% of it printed at that point. The eagerness at this point, it's still new. It hasn't become commonplace, nor has it become this drudgery or I'm running out of ideas. But I have 3 things already on the docket. Like I mentioned, the Raideen Shogun Warrior. I want to print that out. The next on the list is a Rocketeer helmet. I got to give that a go. It was going to be the Dr. Fate, but then I came across a Rocketeer helmet. It's like, oh yeah, don't know which one I want first. And then the third one is I found a version of Tom Servo from Mystery Science Theater. And I've been wanting to get a full-size replica of Tom Servo for ages. So a lot of these are bucket list items that it's like, if I could ever afford the real one. And the Rocketeer won out. And it has more sentimental reason, but I had an opportunity.
Rocket who?
Yeah, the whole Dave Stevens craze has been going on lately. So I had an opportunity years ago to visit with a guy named Bob Burns out in California. And he's the guy who was like buddy with Jim Cameron and all these other people in Hollywood. Rick Baker, who did the special effects for like American Werewolf in London and the original Cantina Monsters. And Bob Burns got all of their movie props. And amongst the movie props, one of them was the original Rocketeer helmet. Bob Burns was very kind, and he is super like, hey, you want to check this out? Look at this. He's like, here, want to put this on? And I got to put it on. And it's like, so from that point, it's like I wore the Rocketeer's helmet.
You've worn it since? You haven't taken it off at all?
It's a little hard to drive, but yeah. No, so I was like, I just need to have my own now. Just to kind of like, it's somewhat like what the original one was that I got to put on.
I need the leather jacket and the jetpack.
Yeah. I haven't found the jetpack files. I saw like where people had made miniature versions of it, but the detail would not hold up if I were to make it full size. 3D printer I'm a little nervous because I got it over the winter. The winter is when the humidity is the lowest. See what happens when the humidity kicks into high gear in the summertime, and that apparently wreaks havoc on the PLA plastic. Well, not as bad with the PLA plastic, but the other ones. It gets worse and worse. I'm wanting to keep the high quality of my stuff, but I'm hearing that, keep that humidity under control if you're really want it to be, high end without defects. It's been fun so far. Printed off a few things, and I think, what saved me the most so far is, my car got stolen a couple of Christmases ago. When it was stolen, there was the find individuals who took off in my car busted the latch that was in the center console, the armrest, and I've been using a paper clip for years now that would hold that armrest down. And I found that somebody was probably in a similar situation and made a 3D file, posted it. And so I printed mine. I had to make a slight modification because it wasn't meant for my specific car. Printed it, and it works perfect. I looked all over, and no one sells that latch piece on its own. You have to buy the full console, which is like $200 and something bucks.
No thanks.
And it's like, I just want this one piece.
Give me that paperclip.
Yeah. So the paperclip is working for now. But yeah, I was really stunned to one, find the file, and then two, that I got it to work. So to me, it's like that almost paid for the machine. Because it's like, well, if I really wanted this part fixed, I would have paid X dollars for it. Solve that problem.
Wonder what else you could do with it.
I know. I was like, there's so many other things. Some of the stuff I will say is on the verge of just like, I'm printing landfill goods because, it's like, this is fun. Then there's other things where it's like, I will never touch this thing again.
Give it to the nieces and nephews.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things that I've seen where it's like, hey, Halloween's coming up. Print these things off and hand them to your trick-or-treaters. I'm like, going, what?
They don't want this.
A 5-cent piece of candy or $1.25 worth of plastic. We'll see how it plays out, but there's still a lot I want to do, and I have to. I'm just nervous about how much plastic is going to use up to do. Like the Rocketeer's helmet, and then how much work is going to be to refine that so that it's nice and smooth and looks right. But the Rocketeer's helmet was always kind of a little bit janky. File I found looks great, but it's almost like too good. And they said, yeah, this is somewhat intentional, because like the weld lines that were in the original helmet that held the fin in place and some of the little details, you're better off just using like some sort of silicone gel right out of the tube, and that'll look more realistic than trying to print it. That makes a lot of sense.
Sure does.
And that's how you assemble it. And it's like, yeah, that's perfect.
Halloween costume ready to go.
Yeah. Still a little, it'll be a good display piece. Question mark is, where do you display it?
Just at work.
Yeah. My office has now become nearly, I'm going to say, out of all the decorations I have, it's probably 75% kaiju with a strong emphasis on Godzilla. I have Godzilla stuff, King Kong stuff, Ultraman stuff, a few things from Gamera.
Gamera is really neat.
He is filled with turtle meat. That's such a great... how long ago? I mean, 80, 90, what? 91, maybe?
91, maybe.
And it's like, man, I still know those lyrics.
Yep. And I would still laugh at every section of that movie. Like it doesn't get old.
No, it's so good. Gamera is a good turtle. He is a friend to all girls and boys.
Well, speaking of Halloween,
yes, sir.
We should talk about the Goon.
Yep, we should.
We should talk about the Goon. That's what this episode's about. The Goon.
Yeah.
Talking about the series by Eric Powell, early prototype in 1995. Goon debuted in Avatar Illustrated in June of 1998. So then it hit, around 2000s, early 2000s. We chose this. I chose this, or you chose this, maybe.
I think I can give you a little bit of an explanation behind that, but
go for it.
Yeah, I had an opportunity. I can't remember this editor at Dark Horse, but she and I got along really, really well. And super nice lady. She was wanting us at the toy company to potentially partner with them to help make some of the product. And then I was also talking to her about like, hey, look at all the comic stuff that I've been doing. Is there any opportunities to do some comic work at Dark Horse? She said, yeah, you may want to talk to some of our creatives that we have. And at the time, Mike Mignola was the top dog. His Hellboy comics were out. That was the biggest thing. And the lines were just going around the block. And she actually, this connection I had with her was so great that she had me skip the entire line. These people were waiting for hours to talk to Mike Mignola because he was like that hot at that time. She's like, you stand over here. I said, okay. And then as soon as he showed up, it's like, okay, go on up there. And I was like, I got to talk to him for a little bit before they even released the masses. During our conversations with, back and forth and some of this other dialogue and such, she said like, oh, if you like Mignola's Hellboy, you're really going to like the Goon. That's a new one that we've got going. It's rising in popularity. If you ever want to do figures, we can work out some deals, blah, 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 blah. I went on. And it's like, oh yeah. So I've seen pictures of the Goon. I've seen posters of the Goon. I've seen, I met with Eric Powell briefly, and he actually did like a cover of a mini comic for Masters of the Universe. And it's like, oh, so there's even that kind of a connection. But I never actually sat down to read. It felt like I understood the premise of the character. Dumb lug that just fights monsters. There's not much thinking, not a whole lot of dialogue. It's not meant to, strain the brain cells. It's like, okay, I get the idea. I'll get around to reading it one day. And this was my official first reading of the Goon?
I knew the Goon from afar. I knew of it. I've heard good things about it. This is my first pass at it as well. I think I hate myself for not liking it.
Ah,
This seems like something I would like.
Mhm.
It's very, very well drawn. Seemed to be, now, for one thing, I had no idea about anything about it. Like, I just knew the drawings of the Goon himself. Maybe I saw some covers or something.
yeah.
I didn't know the background of, now he's going to be fighting the undead and there's zombies and vampire. Like, it seemed like I didn't know that it was kind of a horror comic meets a weird bulky guy that just bashes people. I was upset with myself that I didn't like this more. I seemed to think in my head that I was gonna love it, and then I just started reading it and I'm like, I am working hard to get through just a couple pages of story. I'm not enjoying it. Nothing to do with the art. I see every reason why people like it. It's its own little thing. Fun characters, and there's a little bit of comedy and stuff like that. I did not enjoy this story one bit. Nothing that I read. Now, we read the first trade of it. And just like this podcast, I'm sure it gets better as it goes along. I don't want you to start listening to episode 1 of the podcast again. I think you should, go back a season maybe, but that's about it. And just like that, I think, maybe if we had started off in the middle somewhere and he had polished off some ideas, evolved into something, I would have liked it more. But just starting at the beginning, seeing premise of what these stories and the background and the sceneries and stuff was going to be about, I lost interest really quick, and I'm kind of upset myself because I think some other time, some other me would really enjoy it. But current grumpy old man me, I think I enjoyed Chew better than I enjoyed the Goon, and I hated Chew.
So what's your initial thoughts?
I don't even give it a single Rothley.
Oh, man.
Even the art, as much as I liked it, wasn't good enough to carry it. I don't know. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I wondered about the exact same thing, because we're catching somebody at their earliest and their most unrefined, and I thought maybe this is just okay, I can see the inner workings. Is this going to pay off down the road where it's yep, he's come into his own? Because there are some people who I absolutely love their stuff now, like that Greg Capullo. His early stuff was not that good. It was good, but it wasn't as good as it is now. Some people hit the ground running. They're great right out of the gates, and they look fantastic. Their stuff is smooth. And I thought maybe we're catching early Eric Powell, and he's not at full strength, full potential yet, but he will be, very soon. We read only the first story. So that's so I went and I read down the road. I will say his art drastically improves, and I love the mixed media, so to speak, where it's he'll have some hand drawn, you can see his pencil work or charcoal or whatever he's using as his medium to tell the stories, to kind of as his way of doing flashbacks. And his pencil work is just really solid. His, inking looks great. It has a very, if EC Comics were made today, this is what I feel like it would be done. And I know EC has come back out and is being made today, but this kind of felt oh yeah, this is what EC Comics would have evolved into eventually. But ultimately, I think we'll say the shtick of it kind of gets tired. So yeah. I did, I read that first story, understood that it was a very first go at things and not everything's, locked in. But then I thought, well, let me just jump ahead. I'm going to read another random issue down the road. And I was got it. Kind of got the gist of it.
More of the same.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, it's a different monster with a different twist to it, but it's just, you don't feel like he's deepening the mythos. It's just a lot of similarities and such.
Yeah, it read very like amateurish at the beginning, and he was, I get it. He was brand new about it. I think I was just expecting a finely polished story, and that's not what we picked.
Yeah, it might have been different if it were Omnibus 2 or Omnibus 3. But then I also wonder, it's like, would we be so out of our elements? Like, there's so much precedent set that you'd have to know this backstories and all these other things to make sense of it. So you kind of almost have to start at issue 1 in order to make this kind of work.
Exactly. And I was disappointed, but it's not Eric Powell's fault that I'm disappointed. I think he put out 100% what he wanted to put out.
Yeah.
And it didn't feed my soul like it did other people's, I guess.
I mean, I look at it like almost like musical taste. They all are award-winning bands out there, but they're in genres I don't care for. Doesn't mean that they're terrible. It's just, no, I'm not a fan of that type of music, but apparently they've won awards, so that means that they're good in their genre. This just isn't hitting it for me.
I think the other thing I compare this to for the time is Concrete, and I have zero knowledge of that background and story too, but it was always something that interested me as well. Now that's a bit earlier than the Goon, isn't it?
Yeah, that goes way back. And Concrete's more of an introspective. This is just blatant.
Yeah. And I usually like zombie stories and stuff. Like, that's kind of, I don't know. It was the setting, kind of a weird zombie gang, ghoul gangs in just 1920s feel to it. I'm really sorry, Eric Powell, but, I'm sure it gets really good. Like, I know people that love it. Like, they recommend it 100 times, but I don't know. I'd almost rather read Secret Wars again than that.
Yeah, I wonder, let's say, if we, instead of doing this in the dead of winter, if we said, hey, for a Halloween episode, let's read the Goon.
Yeah.
If that kind of, it's almost one of those things where it's like you have to be in the mood, the right mindset, and the interest to do this. Then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that works.
I think that's probably accurate because, like I said, I didn't even know there was what the background was for it and why there was all this undead kind of supernatural stuff. Like, I didn't even picture. I thought it was more like a mob storyline, very little supernatural or if any at all. Like, I thought it was kind of a more realistic story, and it ended up being not at all realistic. And I think that was just my expectations of what the images I was seeing or I remembered from publicity shots and stuff like that. It's, I didn't realize what it was until I started reading it. And I'm like, oh, this isn't anything of what I thought it was.
Yeah, this dramatically changes my perception of it all. Yeah, it does, skew. It's like one of those things where, like, you see this beautiful looking apple, you're about to chomp into it, and it turns out to be like your grandma's decorative apples that are made out of styrofoam. It's like, what? That's not what I thought it was going to be.
Those pears, they fool me again.
Yep. Every time I think it's a grape, it's not. It's just a rubbery ball thing.
Grandma had those. Drove me crazy. So if you have opinions about the Goon, please let us know. I'm sure Matt 10.0 loves the Goon or something, and he's going to call us crazy for what we just said.
I didn't hate it. I'm not to your level. I'm not going to say that I hated it. It was just, it's the early works. I think if we had stepped aside and had it read it at a different time, or, okay, in real preparation to read this, we're going to read one of his story arcs that's well into this series, but we're going to read everything up to it and then talk about this series so that we can talk to it from an educated vantage point. With this, I think we both grabbed the first omnibus. How far did you page through it?
I got pretty far.
All right.
I can't say I finished it though, so I couldn't tell you what happened. But I tried a few other stories, knowing that maybe it was just the wrong time to read it, or something like that. But I didn't enjoy the later ones either.
Yeah, I think there's something I liked, as it went on. His art does dramatically improve. The characters are more well defined. I can see that the storyline becomes a little bit more like there's some continuity about his origin, and then that has repercussions down the way. His ink work, his brush work, everything about it gets really well done. And that's just, somebody who's really continuing to hone their craft as they go. So I do appreciate it from that point of view. If I were in my late teens, early 20s, when I was buying the more, we'll just flat out call it what it is, more violent comics.
Martial law.
Yeah. Haywire, all that crazy crap. I probably would have loved it, and I would have been just happy with any of it. But I think some of the stuff is that we're coming off of, other titles that, and my interests have changed and are moving down to, different books. And it's like, yeah, this isn't my zone right now. I mean, it's kind of like, I would consider this like grunge era. Let's put it that way, and it's like, it feels like a grunge band. It's like, yep, that was great at the time. It was needed at that time. The world continues to move on, and this now seems like just doesn't have that timelessness to it.
I mean, it is called the Goon, and he was really a goon, wandering around beating things up, but it didn't find a path into anything that I wanted, and I think that's what it comes down to, is it didn't spark anything with me like it did thousands of other people.
No disparaging towards them. It's just,
again, I can see why people like it. It just wasn't for me.
It's, like you said about the Q, I mean, that series went on for a long while.
I want to like every series, I want every series to blow me away, and especially, when it's acclaimed and, he's won awards.
Yeah. Nominated for at least 4 Eisners.
Oh, well, if you like the Goon, let us know. Tell me what you liked about it. Or even better, tell me what issues we should have read. And I'll go back and read, what you recommend. I'm sure it'll be better than what we read. Goon will be redeemed in my eyes.
Yeah, we took that lump of coal and made it into a diamond.
Our webpage is And This Is Why I Love Comics podcast.buzzsprout.com. You can email us at And This Is Why I Love Comics @gmail.com. You can join us on the X and This Is Why L1. Of course, we're on the Facebook and This Is Why I Love Comics podcast. We're on the TikTok, Why I Love Comics podcast. You can listen to Thunder Chicken all the time on Spotify. The link's in the show notes. Let's see. Thanks to producers Katie and Tony, co-host Matt 2.0, Kevin, Jamie, Matt 10.0. Yeah, that's all I got.
And that's good enough.
Thank you, Easter Bunny.
What?
We'll see you next Monday.
Poodles. A little bit of introspective and then right into the comic talk.